Hey guys, what do you say? Gannon JGA59 here, coming at you with another video. Uh, I want to thank everybody for watching what was really basically my first video last week. I made another one a few years ago, but I didn't continue with it. And it was really great to get all the comments, and some of you graciously subbed to my channel, and I just want to thank you for that. Uh, I just thought I'd share with you today just some more cards from my collection. And what we're looking at here is a 1930 Cashin R315 card of Bob Sharkey. Uh, uh, at this time, Sharkey was managing the New York Yankees because the year before, in 1929, Miller Huggins suddenly passed away. Coach Art Fletcher took over for 9 games, and the next year, Sharkey took the helm for the entire season. The Yankees finished third because these were the years that the Philadelphia A's won 3 straight pennants, 1929, 1930, and 31. And it wasn't until, and then the next year, Joe McCarthy took over from Sharkey, and he, as you probably know, stayed with the Yankees for many years. Sharkey was a good pitcher. He pitched for the Yankees in the 20s. He had 195 wins, 150 losses. He won 20 games 4 times, and he was the first Yankee pitcher to win a victory at what was in 1923 the new Yankee Stadium. And so you can sort of say he threw out the first pitch there. And 50 years later, in 1973, when the Yankees were celebrating the 50th anniversary of Yankee Stadium, he threw out the first pitch there. And 3 years later, in 1976, when after the Yankees renovated the old stadium, he threw out the first pitch again. Anyway, that's Bob Sharkey. Again, it's a 1930 Cashin R315. I love these cards. They're a little oversized. I really just love the design, the simple design with the box down at the bottom there with the name of the player and their team. So that's Bob Sharkey. When I first got back into collecting a few years ago, I always liked the 1952 Topps set, and I just really started, getting into it when I started collecting again. To me, they're baseball cards as art, and right now I have actually 70 of them, and I'm gonna, keep trying to collect that first 310. Although I will keep an eye out every now and then for one of the high numbers. In fact, on the left here is, you see my only high number, 1952. And it's a card of pitcher Al Benton. And the reason why I picked up that card is because he's the only pitcher to face both Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle. I thought that was kind of cool, so I picked that card up. On the right, you see Cloyd Boyer, who is, most of you know Ken and Clete Boyer, the great third baseman from the Boyer family. But Cloyd Boyer was the first Boyer to play in the major leagues, and he pitched, for the Cardinals and then later the Kansas City A's. But after a promising start, he developed arm trouble, and he kind of bowed out early. Later on, though, he did go on and he did coach in the major leagues. He only passed away a few years ago. He's in his 90s. So there you see two, I just love the 1952 Topps set. And here we see Al Benton and Cloyd Boyer. This card is a 1954 Topps Joe Collins, and many of you might recognize it as being my avatar here on YouTube. And it's just one of my favorite cards. I remember I got this back in the early '70s. I put an ad in the local Penny Saver magazine, and this kid came over with big box of cards and all different years. And this was the first time I had seen really any 1950s cards, and this was one of the cards in that box. And if you look at the condition of the card, I love at the top left, for instance, I love that slightly rounded corner. I mean, this was considered, I still consider it a great card to have. Uh, if it were graded, they'd probably give it a 1, maybe a 2. And to me, that puts someone's artificial opinion on something that to me really has timeless beauty. To me, this is a perfect card to have. I wouldn't want a better one. And I don't want some, I'm just not into grading. I wouldn't want some number plastered, over it that would, you know, you know, kind of, negatively define the card. Anyway, the reason why I picked Joe Collins as my avatar just was because I remember my mom once years ago uh, mentioning him. I don't know what she said about him, but I just remember her knowing about him, and it was my mom who got me into being a Yankee fan. Uh, and because she was a big Yankee fan, when she was younger, and when I became a baseball fan, it was because of her I became a Yankee fan. And I just remember her talking about Joe Collins, so I, I made him and this card my avatar. Um, 1968 was the first year I really collected as a kid. I had collected previous years, a couple of packs here and there. But 1968 was the year I really, really collected. I got a lot of cards, and here are two of my favorites from the set. I remember when I first saw the Doug Rader card. I mean, I don't know what it was. It just it struck me as so funny, so wild. Uh, yeah, all the other cards, no other card in the set is like it with that smile he has there, and I thought he was like joking around, and I don't know, it just really struck me, and you I just always loved the card. Just one of my favorite cards. It makes me feel good. And on the right, of course, is the great Elston Howard, who finished his career with the Red Sox in 1967 and 68. And this card, I do believe, is a card that I actually collected back in 1968. I'm not sure because long story, I gave the lion's share of my collection to a friend of mine years ago. And after I realized I had made a mistake, he graciously had some mercy on me and gave me back much of the collection. Some of the cards, though, were gone. He may have sold some, or they got mixed in with the rest of his collection. But yeah, I just love that card. I love the way it's weathered. There are a few, scratches and wrinkles. I love the rounded corners. You know, it's a weathered card, and yeah, just I don't know, just it adds in a way it adds character to the card. But I was really glad for Elston Howard. If you're talking about character, you're talking about Elston Howard, the first African American who played for the New York Yankees, won the MVP in 1963. But I was glad he finished his career with the Red Sox, because in 1967, of course, the Red Sox went to the World Series, and so he had a taste of that one more time, and that's a great picture of him there. So you got Doug Rader and Elston Howard, two of my favorite cards for the 1968 Topps set. After the baseball season was over in '68, of course, the football season started, and I'd never collected any football cards. It was like, oh wow, I mean, now I can go out and get football cards. This is great. And I just collected all through the fall, and this was one of my favorite cards. And as time went on, I used to just marvel at George Blanda. He was in his early, he played through the mid 1970s, and I just used to marvel at him. He was a guy in his 40s, and he would be kicking these field goals, and many times they'd be 40 yards away, which at that time was really stretching it. And I didn't know he was a great quarterback for the Oilers, and he had played previously for the Bears. I just knew him as an Oakland Raider. So he was one of my favorite players growing up, George Blanda. And this is one of my favorite cards of him. Anyway, this will be my last card that I'm going to share with you today. Yeah, is a little something different, just to see if you're paying attention. This is a 1935 radio favorite. Okay, I think it was, I can't remember, I think they're called Sinclair radio favorites of one of my favorite violinists. Her name is Isolde Menges. And I learned about her through a great DJ who just sadly passed away a couple of weeks ago. His name was Terry Noel Tao. And man, I learned so much about classical music from him. And he used to have a show. He went to Princeton, and he used to have a show at WPRB called Tao on Thursday. And the show would start like at 5:30 in the morning and go to 11. And I just retired, and I was able to actually catch the show every Thursday. It was so exciting. And what he would do is he would play mostly historical recordings, things from the 1930s, the 20s, of great musicians. And one time, I think the first thing it may not have been the first thing, but I think he played the Bach Chaconne, played by Isolde Menges here. And yeah, so I bought this card kind of as a tribute to Terry, and also because I'm a big fan of Isolde Menges. One last thing I'll say is Terry, sometimes he would sub for another DJ, so it might be on a different day. So let's say if the show was on a Friday, he would say, the name of the show would be Tao on Thursday on Friday. Terry, you will be missed, and I learned so much from you. Thank you. And okay, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I do collect a lot of non-sports cards, and I'll share those as well. But here's one of them. And if you stuck around this long, I hope you're not seasick, because I'm holding the camera like this. But at any rate, I'm going to post this in a little while, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.